Lena Nyaga. She is the Chief Operations Officer at Atlantis Life Sciences Limited. Kisongo Kobwa, but she'll tell us what that means. Lena, good morning.
Good morning to you. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Yes.
Asante sana. As we get into this conversation, you'll tell us what Atlantis is, yes, but also the journey of Atlantis, yes, in navigating the entire thing. I know it's, there's a generational issue here, yes, with Atlantis. There's that as well, an aspect to talk about. You'll tell us all about that. But first, Janet is going to give you the dress code. And people are saying that you guys look alike. And I actually agree.
I actually see it.
Yes.
You see it, eh?
I'll take it.
Janet, do you see it?
I see it and I'll take it.
So look, can we just have a split of these two on air? Just the two of them.
With our glasses.
Yes,
and
with glasses and all. This is, Janet is going to give Lena, her sister, the day's quotes.
Yes.
Philo, make sure you try work on that split screen later on in the show. But today's quote is by John Dramani Mahama. Oh, there we are. We're on split now. There you can see the resemblance.
Aki kamsa, by the way.
The quote says, Africa needs partnerships, not sympathies. What's your reaction to that?
Well, actually, I think Africa, we have a lot of potential because Africa being the youngest continent in terms of workforce, we have a lot of potential in bringing up our economy, because right now with the youngest workforce, it means there's a lot of room for innovation, there's a lot of skills, and the youth, again, they come with a lot of innovation, they come with creativity, and I think for Africa, this is the right time. If we prime our economy right now and prepare now as micro, small to medium enterprises, we are positioning Africa to be leading in the near future. So I believe it is right, and we don't need sympathy. We just need to be empowered. We need the right environment for businesses to grow from micro to corporate, because again, you find that a lot of African countries, when the small businesses start, they don't formalize enough.
Yep.
And the companies, again, they don't grow from small to micro to grow to corporate. So you find that maybe a very small percentage of around 10% make it to the corporate level. And saying that Africa does not need sympathy, it's the right discussion to have, because Africa has potential. We all need to have an enabling environment, the right policies, and to have entrepreneurs who are really forward-looking and seeing what the future looks like. We all need to look into sustainable businesses, yes.
Beautiful. I like the fact that your interpretation of it is saying we take agency.
Yeah.
Yes, Africa does not need sympathy, but also from there, it's not that Africa needs partnership, as in we expect. It's Africans ought to acknowledge that we have the power and everything. And so we do it ourselves. We start micro enterprise, we want to make it into a small enterprise, into a medium enterprise, into, growing like that. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. Yeah.
No, it's really good. I know we're getting into, there's a certain question I want to come to for Leah, but let me not jump ahead of myself. I know we talk a lot about MSMEs. I'm the one who is now starstruck. Are you saying?
Oh,
no, I'm just like,
You've never seen it.
so up close. But yeah, I think Latif kind of alluded to it. Some of the biggest challenges, and I know that question tends to seem broad, but here you are, it's an MSME. There's that courage to say, this is what we're starting, this is how we're scaling, this is how we're growing. But what are some of, maybe name an unexpected challenge that you encountered that was surprising for you, that you were like, I didn't think this would be something I'd encounter in this space. Speak to us about that so that we can just chart a way forward with regards to how you navigated it and how there was scale as well. An unexpected challenge.
Yes, and I think for me, I would speak on tax regulations. You see, when the tax keeps changing, you've not planned for it as a business, and you need to adopt this. And the tax will come in very many forms. It could be excise duty for your packaging materials. It could be tax imposed on importations, and now these affects the landed cost, and you have to transfer this to the consumer. And for us, the consumer is the small-scale farmer, the smallholder. So for us, how we look at it is, how do we navigate this challenge, adopt to the new regulations that have been put in place, and still give the farmer value, and still build a profitable and sustainable business. So I think for us, the biggest challenge was around tax and policy regulations, which I think sometimes it's a bit of an uncertainty for the business because you don't see that coming. So it just comes in. Today there's excise duty 10%. We are going to be doing this. There's additional importation charges, which now directly affect our profitability.
Okay.
And navigating that, I think it's about still looking at the quality. You need to shift to the consumer because at the end of the day, every business runs because there's a support system down there. And for us, when the farmers are happy with what we're giving them, we really don't mind losing a bit of a margin to them, but as long as they get the good quality.
Let's go back. Tell us about your business. I went forward. Tell us a little bit more about the business. Thank you for speaking to the tax. I can imagine the curveballs that come with that. But just a little bit about what the business does.
Yes. So Atlantis Life Science Limited is a medium enterprise at the moment. We started operations in 2017.
As a micro?
Yes, we started as a micro, really micro.
You've moved from M to S to the next M.
And now we're in the M.
Very good.
So now it's been quite of a challenge because we've had to build ground up. We started in a very small facility, but our main focus ideally is in veterinary pharmaceuticals. So we address the farmers, the communities through the dairy cooperatives. We also have a focus on public health. This is making sure that the bed bugs, the cockroaches in your houses are well taken care of. We distribute our products through Naivas, that is for the public health products. And now for these animal health and poultry products, we do distribution through dairy co-ops, through the agrovets and the stockist. And also we have cattle genetics that we import. I know mnasikianga simenuko mashinani.
Yes.
Yeah, so now we are in the AI business for cattle. So
mbegu ya ng'ombe.
Mbegu ya ng'ombe ndio hiyo. Mkulima pale nyumbani anaelewa mbegu ya ng'ombe.
So what exactly do you do? Do you just sell or do you actually produce?
Yes, we have some products we actually producing here locally, and then most of our bulk is importations. But now we are moving into the aspect of looking at how do we make this business sustainable? Because again, when you look at the cost of importation and locally manufacturing, you gain more mileage in locally manufactured products. That is in terms of the margins, you're able to control your quality, you're able also to control and provide jobs for the local community. You're also able to support the community with extension services, because for us we are very key in farmer support, farmer education. That is making sure they know when you're talking about upcoming zoonotic diseases, how do we prevent this? Because again, you find farmers need to know. Instead of them being just reckless, they need to know when we talk about withdrawal periods, they need to make sure that that is well taken care of, so that now we don't have these drugs residues coming to human consumption through milk, meat, and all this. So for us, we are really big on farmer training, and it's to make sure the farmer is empowered and the community at large is growing.
This company, you joined as the first employee.
Yes. Wow. Yes.
What does that mean? Were you the founder or was there an employer?
Yes. Now, there was the founder. The founder is Dr. Karia. He's a visionary man. He has a big dream on how to shift this industry and how to make impact at the community.
I assume that Dr. Karia is a veterinary doctor.
Yes, he's a veterinary surgeon by profession.
And Lena?
Myself, I'm a business major, but my first degree was in psychology. So I come with psychology on board, and I think it's really good for people management, which is key for stakeholder, employees, suppliers, and all these engagements we have.
What inspired the business to start?
Yes, for him, I think he had seen a gap, and also there was the upcoming issue of antimicrobial resistance. There's the One Health, and he saw a gap. And this gap now is saying, now what do I bring in to bridge this gap in the market? So it's about creating a portfolio that is focused and aligned towards antimicrobial resistance. For him, again, it was about empowering the young people, because also we are an internship center. We do take students directly from the university. It's also about empowering our communities. What can we do to the farmers who have been for the longest time been sidelined? They don't have the power to say, this is what I want. I know what is going on in my farm. How can I build a better livelihood for myself? And that's why we say, and I think his slogan was really key around that, it's for a better life. Because for us, we want to empower the farmers to improve their yields, for a better life, improve their livelihoods. And at large, I mean, improve food security in Kenya and East Africa at large.
It's a holistic slogan.
Yes.
It touches. I want to speak to two elements of growth. So there's yours. As Eric said, you were the first employee.
Yes.
just very briefly tell us that journey of scale in your own personal capacity to where you are now. How many years?
Yes.
And what was an important learning curve for you as you scaled?
Yes. So ideally for me, that was in March 2017 when I was employee 001. By then, the office had not even been really set up. It was just me in the office. And I would go to the regulator to make these applications and everything. And that for me has been quite a journey, because for me, it's not been about stepping in and finding the highest position. It's been working my way up, finding my competencies, my strengths and capabilities, building a community around that is coming from one employee to now we are 56, or 30 are permanent and 26 are part-time. It's about seeing that journey. For us, having our first product, we sourced locally at 500 liters. Now we have the capacity to do even 100,000 liters. So it's seeing that journey, scaling, resilience mostly. And I will say resilience because for a micro enterprise, there's so many challenges. And you wonder, why am I here? The vision is so big, but when do we get there?
When do we get there?
When do we get there? So, but eventually you learn and understand, and you have the buy-in. So now as the vision bearer, it's very clear for me where we're going, and it's clear for me where we've come from. And I really appreciate the journey because it's what has molded us even in the industry, from having one product in the market to having over 33 products. Yes, so it's been quite a journey of resilience, and I would say it's more of learning and unlearning because I came straight out of university to be employee 001, so I didn't have a prior experience. So I've had to learn on the job. And I'm here talking veterinary medicine, which was not my first language.
That's amazing. And again, part of the scale of a business includes access to credit. And I think that also tends to be a barrier in many ways because people don't feel like that's an automatic thing. So talk to us about access to credit. I'm just thinking about a business that has all this potential, all this hope, but as we've heard from many people, trying to get that first credit or funding to scale sometimes doesn't come for 10 years, sometimes people close shop. So speak to us about the moment that access to credit became a reality, as we also think through what more can be done for there to be better access to credit for many other MSMEs.
Now I know for all MSMEs, the biggest challenge will be access to credit because there's also a huge financial gap, but I also think it comes with formalization of the business because once you formalize your business, you're able to have a good book of accounts, you're able to monitor your profits, your losses, and you're able to be bankable.
Just wait, formalize, sorry to interrupt you, formalize the business.
Yes, formalize the business.
I don't want you to lose your trail of thought. But that is also something that sometimes requires a lot of money.
Exactly.
And what does it mean to formalize?
Now, to formalize the business is to have the necessary registrations. That is, it means in terms of licensing, it means in terms of getting the right employee skill set, because oftentimes you may find that we have briefcase companies as micro because they're not able to scale, they're not able to have access to the right skills. And now this again goes to say the ability to scale is not there. Then again, when it comes in terms of books of accounts, most micro to small enterprises, they don't keep their books. So now when you go to the bank, they would like to see audited accounts, and then you have nothing to show for. And I think this again speaks to financial literacy. When MSMEs are starting, I think it is critical that they have an environment where there's a mentorship, where they're told, for you to be bankable, to access credit, we need to see your books. Then now it goes again, we'll come again on the issue of collateral. MSMEs, we don't have assets to position ourselves to get credit. So now our books becomes our first asset. So in building and formalizing how we do business, it will be the first key to unlocking capital access.
How much does it cost to formalize a business?
Well, it will depend industry to industry. Like for us, we're in a highly regulated industry because medicine, again, it's more like human medicine. And I would say for us, it was a bit capital intensive. But for most other regular businesses, it would be getting your permit, getting an accountant. You don't need an in-house accountant on the onset. You can outsource this service so that now somebody can look at your books, whatever product you're buying. What are your margins? What is your landed cost? Are you in the profit or are you in the loss-making business? So that now it helps you to advance and see where am I in terms of my books. How do I now move from this micro? This year I've made maybe 500,000 in terms of profit. How do I scale this next year? So it's all about getting the right people. And for a very micro business, I would say if you look around, the cost of licensing is around 10,000. That is maybe for the city council licenses. And then for industry specifics, it could be anywhere. Like for us, even one product registration can even go up to the range of 5 million. So it's different for us. So, but for other small micros, you want to come from a shop to a mini supermarket to a supermarket, you can easily formalize your business from that level.
Okay.
Yes.
Now,
You know,
Yeah.
here is one vet called Dr. Carrier
Yes.
who has an idea.
Yes.
And then he approaches a lady called Lena and says, come, umemaliza university.
Yeah.
Kuja, niko na kazi, nikuandike kazi.
Yes.
And then you're happy because you're looking for a job.
Yeah,
and you get a job.
Yeah.
Who between you two, of course, you have gone through university. Dr. Carrier has gone through university.
Yes.
You all know formalizing a business. All those things that you've told us,
Yes.
people know. I mean, we went to school, we know,
Yes.
formalize a business, you know, register, do all those things. But the doing
Yes.
is the bad part.
Yes.
Who between you two
Yes.
was intent on actualizing that?
Yes.
Or did you have a third person who was coming in as sort of like a business advisor, like you're saying that you needed,
Yes.
who would come and say, okay, you guys are starting, yes, you've started with 500 liters, you've imported, but you need to formalize this thing.
Yes. Ideally, I think it speaks to his former industry experience because he's been an industry leader before he started for over 18 years. So he had learned the curves.
He knew what needs to be done.
He knew what needs to be done. And now for me, I came in as the doer. So for him was to map out what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, and I went at it. So for him, from the onset, he was clear. He wants to formalize the business. He wants to scale it from that very small enterprise to, we have a very big dream to be corporate one day. And that is the journey we are still on. So it's not an overnight thing. It takes time. Compliance is one subject that will always be hard for MSMEs. And I think from the onset, he was really keen on how do I build a sustainable and compliant business.
He has corporate experience.
Yes.
I'm balancing between the founder
Yes.
and the vision bearer.
Yes.
And he's passing on a vision to somebody who's the doer.
Yes.
Looking back now,
Yes.
and the things that you know, were you getting it then? When he was telling you, we are doing this, we are doing the other, were you understanding what exactly we are doing?
On the onset, it was a bit blur, but then as you get into it, you start to understand, oh, yeah, now this absolutely makes sense why we have to do this. Because when you get on business, you get to realize that, hadn't we done this earlier, these would not have materialized for us in terms of either access, in terms of market penetration, in terms of consumer and brand loyalty, trust, you know. If we didn't do things that way, they would not have happened this way. So in hindsight, yes, it was a bit like, why do we need to do this? I mean, we can just go straight like any other Kenyan. Unajua, Kenyans love shortcuts. But then it was the long way that was the best route, actually. And I think that's also one thing as entrepreneurs we often miss out, that we would rather go the shortest route, but then it curtails our growth and our sustainability.
I think these are such important, sometimes, you know, it's questions that maybe have been asked several times, but it's important to get that insight because it could be your understanding or your experience that somebody who's running an MSME right now or is thinking of it can listen. Even what you've just said, don't take shortcuts.
Yes.
You want to,
Yeah.
but cheap is expensive. You'll find yourself 7 years down the line having stalled. You talked about formalizing the business before I asked about access to credit.
Yes.
So you can speak to us about that. And I wonder whether the government has kept pace with the realities of what MSMEs are dealing with on a day-to-day, because sometimes the government can roll out plans or taxes that are tone deaf to what the MSME needs.
Yes.
But yeah, you were talking about access to credit. The number one thing was first you had to formalize the business.
Yes.
What else?
Yes, you have to be bankable. So you have to build on your bankings with the bank.
Yeah.
Then that builds credibility with the bank, of course. And then once you start getting this financing, you have to have a plan on how to use it. You know, for most MSMEs and why we don't get to that scale is once now we get access to this credit, we we divest.
Sikuna pesa.
Sikuna pesa. You know, Kenyans, and that's
si watoto wanafungua shule.
Watoto wanafungua shule. Sasa hii pesa nimepewa hapa, you know, I can use it for something else. And I think it's coming to realization that once your access credit comes with high interest rates, again, this is not your money yet, because you have to go to the market a couple of times, make profit on it so you can have something to hold on to. So it's about being bankable so that you build credibility with the facility and your lender. And then from there now, it becomes very easy, it becomes very smooth. Because even like for us, we didn't have credit from the onset. We had to work with our retained earnings, tukitengeneza ka profit kidogo, hakuna sherehe, you know. I see a lot of us Kenyans, you know, we are high flyers, you know, you want to live the high life. Yet what you don't know is this money, there's supplier money in it, there's the bank's money in it, there's the interest that comes with it. So calculating also the cost of credit, so you know what kind of credit am I willing to take as a business. That will be really critical for any MSME. And what is the impact if I keep, at least for a couple of years, you know, reinvesting this money? What would that look for me in terms of scale? And I think that is what has helped us scale. I think people keep saying 7 years has been such a short time from micro to medium, but it was intentional. Reinvest these profits. Do not divest the money. When you're given access.
Yeah, have it.
Yeah.
No, we're coming back.
Sure.
We'll talk about mindset. I think, again, you've touched on something that may not be as obvious to people, but the way you go into the business is also what can sustain you. We have some feedback as we go into the break. We'll also come back and speak to Lena Nyaga and just, how to get it right, what to look out for, how to gain access to credit, how to pivot when things go wrong. Some feedback on your screens, the Kikombe saying, what a great stories. Timothy Kangede saying, Lena is Janet's doppelganger.
Oh,
doppelganger, Timothy. Yeah, doppelganger. And Mumo Irungu is appreciating Lena just being able to talk about the scale of a business. So it's coming up to 8:30. We'll come back and continue with the conversation. Keep talking to us. Are you also running one? Are you a founder? Are you employee 001? What did it look like to scale? And also just the tough parts of it and how to weather that storm. We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, Lena Nyaga is the Chief Operations Officer at Atlantis Life Sciences Limited. It's a company that started in 2017 as a micro enterprise, and today it's in the medium enterprise category. It's the growth journey, it's the resilience journey. That's what we're discussing. What is it that you need to do to navigate, you know, growing a business? Many companies, many businesses in Kenya are in the level of micro. That's a hustler, okay? You need to grow from there to small, to medium. How do you do that? And the journey that you've given us so far is beautiful of, you know, just navigating that. Did you get the answer to how we can get the money? We got that answer. How we look presentable to a lender so that then the lender can lend us the money. And once you've gotten the money, again, Lena, you told us, be disciplined with that money. Okay?
So
pesa ya biashara ni pesa ya biashara.
Absolutely.
All right? But then there's maintaining the vision and staying the course of the vision. Because many people start a business, then unaangalia hivi unaona ile biashara ndio better, wacha nifunge hii, fungua the other one. Or you start a business and then you realize there are so many hurdles that have been introduced. So maybe I could just, you know, pivot or introduce a new business line. How do you and the founder, how did you actually stay the course?
So the founder was very clear that he wanted to make a difference. And his vision was to build a company that can outlive him. So he stayed course on the vision, knowing that there were very many challenges along the way. There was a lot of cost that had to go into it. But even on the days that we really didn't make any money, he still said, this is my dream, this is my vision, and I believe I have the right people. You know, there's something he's always telling me, you'd rather keep getting 100 people. On the 99th, you'll get to the right person. And for him, he knew it's about building a team that he can buy into his vision. And over time, we've built a team that actually believes in his vision even more than I believe now he does, because we've built a team that actually believes what this one Dr. Curry is saying. It's truly doable. And we are the people to take him there, because alone he cannot get there. So even when the days are tough, we remind him that we got this. The market may be feeling tough right now, but we'll pivot, we'll restructure when it needs restructuring, because obviously there are those moments that things you expect them to go in a certain way and they don't, and you sit back and ask yourselves as a team, what do we do? How is this market responding to us? Is it how we needed to go into the market? What can we do different? And now it's about the buy-in, again, I would say, and it's about the vision and the founder to stay committed to the vision. When it's tough, when it's the happy moments, now I've made finally my first profit. It's remembering that it was tough so that you can make that profit. Otherwise, it's not easy. And it's knowing that this is the line where I excel best in. There are so many other options, and I think, as you're saying, Latif, as businesses, you find, ukiona kidogo biashara imeanza kustall, uko like, ai, miwacha niache hii niende ingine.
Yeah, in fact, there's data that says by the 5th year, most MSMEs fail.
Yes.
That's the word fail. It's a big word.
Yes.
But yeah, they just close shop and say, it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
I wonder whether there's something to a 5-year mark to say if we can vumilia this 5th year, because I think it's usually a learning curve. Even with relationships, there's always that 5 years, and then it's about the mindset to sustain the next chapter.
Yes.
But I wonder what you can do when things are tough, but you need to, how do you pour into yourself when the business isn't pouring into you? Because you see, I think as long as you feel like there's something to wake up to and push for, beyond the business, you're like, this business, I believe in it. This is going to be a legacy. This is going to help farmers.
Yes.
But at the same time, right now we're in a bit of a rut.
Yes.
Most people, I think that's where they close shop.
Exactly.
But I think there's something you can be telling yourself or doing in that parallel moment. Maybe you can walk us through when there was a moment when you said, he must. I could just do other things. This one, we don't need to do it.
Yeah.
What were you telling yourself? Or how were you pouring into yourself? Was it through a course? Was it through, how were you able to pour into yourself as you continued to push for the business to get to the next level?
Exactly. There is the continued learning curve. So we kept on advancing on what we already know. So, and also looking on what do we need to know so we can make this situation better for us. But then I think our best moment is seeing we now have this number of employees. So if we close shop, how many lives are we affecting? And that keeps you going as an employer. It makes you know that there is so many people, at least we say for every employee, there's at least 5 other people who are dependent on them. So it's asking yourself, if I give up on this dream today and I send these people home, where are they going to go? We are here talking about unemployment. There is no opportunities. So when we decide that this vision is too difficult, now things are so tough, we're in a rut and we can't get out of it, what next? And then again, it's about keeping building for the future. The vision that you had, because you don't get entirely there all at once. It was that even if we're in this rut, let's keep building for the future. No matter how small scale it looks like, right now, every action we do, be it either new product development, and I think our director, Dr. Karia, really went, because I can really look back into that period, and he was like, no matter how much things are not looking like it right now, I'm going to keep developing because I know there's so much potential, because I'm going to keep developing these products, and when the money looks up, we'll have something to spend on.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that now all these products we can commercialize at that point. Now, instead of just sitting and saying, now we have
we wait for
products,
the money and then we start.
Yes, looking for what to do with the money.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I like
for
the
me, it
idea
was
of,
intent.
of pouring more knowledge on the field.
Yes.
I think that's also underrated, because you said you just you grow on what you already know.
Yes.
And there's something about, even as you're waiting for the skill,
Yes.
I'm just reading and learning more.
Yes.
But still, that part can be very tough. It's like I'm going back into there's like a PTSD. I'm tapping.
You're reliving your own life.
I'm reliving my own life. You mentioned Hustler Fund. Oh, you said Hustler.
No,
but it
Hustler.
meant to Hustler Fund. It's supposed to be, it was marketed as a lifeline for MSMEs.
Yeah.
From your own observation or experience, is it really a tool of empowerment? Is it tokenistic? What have you seen and what have you experienced? If you have, maybe you didn't need to tap into it, but what have you seen Hustler Fund be able to do?
Well, I can't speak so much about Hustler Fund, but I think the access of it was not really pro MSMEs. I think there was a bit of high level of documentation requirements that most MSMEs cannot meet. And then maybe the rollout itself really didn't really go all the way down to the small holder micro person on how do I take this fund and actually scale with it. Because even us at that point, I think we were at a small enterprise and we were looking, maybe we can tap into this, and we were seeing the ceiling being 50 million. And we are saying 50 million at that point could have been life-changing for us. But then how do we access it? Then we realized the access was not that easy. Then we just pivoted and said, let's just go back to the bank. The bank can support us. So I think it was more about the implementation of the Hustler Fund. The concept in itself was really good to help MSMEs scale, to bring you from that small shop to, you know, to a bigger dream. But I don't know, maybe the implementation and the policies around it, the requirements, the regulation, I just can't place and pin something to it.
Where it comes in.
Yeah.
The Hustler Fund,
Yes.
we're discussing it, I think, with Mariam a couple of days back. The thinking about the Hustler Fund was, you're talking to this one individual who's running a micro enterprise, and they don't have access to credit because they don't have a credit history, and they are not doing the bookkeeping and all those things, but they need credit immediately. So how do you do that? And you put them through the Credit Reference Bureau system by affording them small time credit, like for Lisa, 30-day pay, repay. And with that, you're building your credit score and history. So with that, then after you've borrowed from the Hustler Fund, you know, you're running like a small biashara here, you're a vegetable vendor, you're a maize vendor, you're a mtu wa kuuza miwa. Then you are building your credit history, then you can go to a bigger institution to borrow a bit more based on the fact that you have a credit history that is tangible. Because many of these people borrow informally. You borrow from your merry-go-round, you borrow from your neighbor, you borrow from your supplier. Mi nauzanga miwa. Ule mzee ndio amepanda miwa. So I go, I collect miwa, I pay him later in the evening. There's no record of that. So there's that. But on government, there are several institutions, like there's the Kenya Development Corporation, and I was just looking it up, that is supposed to be helping especially small and medium enterprises to scale and do, providing long-term and affordable financing to strategic sectors, offering business advisory services to investors and SMEs. I'm reading, this is the mandate of the Kenya Development Corporation, which is a government entity that is supposed to do this. It is supposed to, you know, provide financing, supporting MSMEs, you know, partnerships, working with local and international financiers to mobilize capital. So an enterprise such as Atlantis should have been able to go to know that there is KDC that exists. Go to Kenya Development Corporation and say, this is a business that we are running, and we'd like partnership in, for example, importing manufacturing equipment or importing this raw material that we use to develop our product, and so on and so forth, or getting access to finance and capital. Not many people know about such institutions.
Absolutely,
And that's where now the gaps with government come in.
Communication, maybe? We talk about it all the time. How many people know? Because if they exist, it means that there's a lifeline, so to speak. So how come people are not pursuing it as such?
And I think it's all about the sensitization of the community, that is the business community ideally, sensitizing them and telling them that we have these facilities that can help you and bridge your financial gaps that you have within the businesses. Again, speaking back to Hustler Fund, as you said, Latif, it's about telling them, we are giving you this money so you can able to access better credit. Then again, I think what could have been done better was maybe the mentorship program. Because I think for very small businesses, it's about telling them how to learn the ropes and helping them to keep climbing. So that mentorship, sensitization, let us know there are these government programs that are ongoing. I think like for us, we've benefited from one of the government funds, CAPE, but then this goes again to high level knowing, in the sense that, you know, there are people who are actively helping MSMEs seek funding. So now you need to get to know these people, how to access that market, so that now you also can know how eligible is your business to access these government funds, because the programs are there, but they are not well known. They take time to trickle down all the way to the micro, and I think once they trickle down there, again it comes to the business advisory and the technical advisory. Just don't give an SME money. Help them skill their books. Help them skill their skill set, because again, you need the right people. You may have all the capital you need, but you don't have the right people on board. So it's about telling SMEs the things that actually matter to them. How to be credit-worthy, how to be credible even to access government grants. There are projects with partners, you said, UNEP, all these things. How do they access these grants? You know, there can come a grant that maybe Mama Mboga can easily benefit, but how will Mama Mboga know if there's no sensitization?
That's the point.
Yes.
It starts with government, I think.
Yes.
Because, and I know they are watching, those in the Ministry of Trade, those in the National Treasury and the advisors. You know, if the focus of a government is to brag about how many foreign investors they've brought into the country with big money, and they're employing 10,000, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, and there's no focus of a government that says we have actually grown X number of micro enterprises into small enterprises, or X number of small enterprises into medium-sized enterprises, from medium into large enterprises. This is what we are doing, nurturing the enterprise journey in this country. If that's not the focus, then you're not going to be able to tell any of this. It needs to have a target, because the target should be UKDC. I want to see how many small to small to medium to large enterprises you're developing through your support. You Youth Enterprise Development Fund, Uwezo Fund, Hustler Fund, and all. I want to see how many micro enterprises are becoming small enterprises, and that's your mark. Otherwise, funga hii fund, hii pesa wacha watu endo kule sherehe. You know, something like that. But if the focus of government is never that, it's just the other way around.
Yeah.
It will show. That's really well said. What's the focus when it comes to building, when it comes to giving targets, when it comes to encouraging? Because I feel like MSMEs employ what? I'm willing to bet 70, 80%? 80%. 80%, but then treated as a sideshow.
Exactly.
That's what makes me, to Eric's point, I wonder what it would take for it to leave from being a sideshow to a main. Is it just from the side of the government? Is it more intentionality from MSMEs? What do you think it will take, Lena, for this to stop being we know it's 80%. But you just get the sense that it's treated as that thing that people try to figure out, and if they do well, great. If they don't, that's on them. What do you think it will take to make it the main meal on the table, the biggest thing that people say, we need to invest in this?
Yes, and I think, thank you, Janet. I think the first thing is the government realizing that it's the small businesses that are making the biggest impact in terms of employment opportunities given, in terms of innovation, because you see the small and micro businesses, they come on board to bridge the gap. They are the most innovative. When you look at the youth programs, most of the fintechs and the tech apps that have even benefited from investor funding, they are youth-led companies. So I think for them is to realize there is so much potential. We're not looking at 50 million Kenyans. For me, when I look at it, I look at scale of 1.5 billion African continent population. How do we tap into this market? And it's the government coming in saying, we need to build our people, we need to support manufacturing internally, because you look at the gap between our imports and our export, it's like day and night. So how do we make sure that we are building these small people so that they can be the enterprises of tomorrow? We promote intra-Africa trade. I mean, make it more easier for Kenyan businesses to grow, to go to Uganda, Tanzania, Nigeria, to go to South Africa and see, like Latif is saying, KDC, how many businesses have you supported from micro to small? That's a KPI. Somebody needs to check that. There needs to be accountability of the funds. Then we come again and speak, what is the sectors that we are really focusing on? What kind of fund can we build as a government to support these kind of sectors that are really upcoming? There's tech, there's agriculture, there's all these things, logistics, how can we support the youth fund? What more can the youth do? Because, I mean, the youth, they are so much into the digital space. How much more can we support them into building this infrastructure? So for me, first, it's realizing the potential we have as Kenya, because we have very brilliant minds. The opportunities are there, but then the access to that capital. It's the government even going to the banks and saying, we want to provide a collateral fund for SMEs. We want business ABCD in these industries to come and take loans and we'll provide security for them. Give them loans, because collateral is always the biggest challenge.
It's a big issue.
So that they can scale.
Yes.
And now that, again, speaking to people like KDC and the like, it becomes a KPI for them that we've provided this fund, this number of companies have benefited. They've moved from employing 10 employees, they're now at 20, they're at 30. Again, that goes to say. So then again, we don't keep exporting our labor. We have a young workforce.
We have people who can work.
Who can work. We can innovate.
I want to give you another. So you have told you about KDC?
Yes.
I want another one.
Yes.
KenyaIndustrialEstates.go.ke.
Yes, KIE.
On X, they are at KIE_Kenya.
Yeah.
Who is KIE? Kenya Industrial Estates was established by the government in 1967 with a mandate to promote small and medium industries with a focus on rural industrialization. You know, when you talk about cottage industries in 1967, these founding fathers of this country had these visions. Of course, when the structural adjustments programs came in the 90s, World Bank said close all these things. Now, they still exist, the Kenya Industrial Estates, and they can give you funding if you wanted funding for business. Who is eligible for funding? I'm on their website. Small and medium enterprise owners, an individual, a registered group, a limited public company operating in the value-added addition sector, like manufacturing or service industry with a direct contribution to manufacturing. The minimum or maximum amounts of loans that one can apply for SMEs, loan ranges from 100,000 shillings to 20 million shillings, payable over a duration of 84 months maximum. For micro loans, youth and women groups, Juakali operators, presently the loan size obtainable under this scheme is a minimum of 10,000 and a maximum of 500,000 shillings. This is government.
Yes.
How many micro and small enterprises know about the Kenya Industrial Estates, that you can get this kind of support? And it goes more than just funding into offering all the support services that we're talking about.
Yes.
The mentorship, even housing some of the enterprises that you have.
Have they talked about the requirements or not really?
The requirements, there's a form that
There's
you
a
fill.
form that you fill.
Yeah.
So that's an answer right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, lack of awareness. I don't think a lot of people know.
Absolutely.
Could part of it also be mindset? I wonder whether people still say, "Si upate kazi tu hapa kwa hii ofisi." I wonder whether sometimes that is something that keeps people from pursuing. And whether you faced that as we wind up. Did you ever face like, Lena, just get another job, get a job that pays your salary every month? And what you can say to somebody who is hearing that right now while trying to grow their MSME, what would you say to them?
Well, we've been in that space, and that is on the onset years. And then you wake up and you realize this thing is not kicking as I thought it would. The wheel is not turning. How many times do we need to give it a push for it to turn? And I remember asking myself, now here's a big dream. I'm quite young and green. So how do I bring myself to this space? And I've learned it's all about resilience. Whether you're a founder, whether you're an employee, it's all about resilience. And once you understand the vision and the purpose as to why you're doing this, it becomes a bit easier along the way, even on the most toughest moments for the business. Because there are days when you don't even know how you're going to pay employee salaries, you know? And you know you have these people that they have to be paid. They've given you a service for the entire month. But how do you tell them now the profits are not kicking in? So it's all about resilience and sticking to the vision. Once you believe in your vision and you have people who really believe in your vision, just know you can scale it and take it.
Lena Nyaga, CEO, Atlantis Life Science. I've called you insurance. My apologies, Limited. Before we get to the break, you know, we've not talked about how hunger pangs hit at this time of day. What do you eat for breakfast, by the way?
For me, I'm light on breakfast. I'll just have a cup of tea. I really love tea. I think
heaviest meal of the day?
My heaviest meal is actually lunch. So for break,
please.
Yes.
Kaugali.
Kaugali hivi. Na kamboga pale. So for me, a cup of tea it makes my day.
For ugali, layer premium maize flour. Layer premium maize flour is where you go. Because layer is basically this unga that has been fortified. It is high premium quality and it is available across the country. Best. Mina kwambia, what umetuambia hapa juzi.
Umetuambia? I've seen it on socials.
You've seen it.
And I'm going to
try
give
it.
it
And
a
it's
try.
fortified, so there's the nutrients aspect.
Exactly.
Because you're somebody who works with farmers,
Yes.
they also get, local supplies and work with farmers. So jaribu alafu utueleze.
Nitawaambia. I'll come back with feedback.
Love to hear it. Thank you so much for joining us. In the next hour, we speak to another founder, somebody whose name has made rounds in the beauty industry, one of the pioneers, so to speak. Susie Wakabi will join us in just a moment. It's coming up to 8 a.m.